before shot before we get the subframe out. She's dirty. Luke, the willing participant.
I don't know about willing.
What do you mean, man? You've been here for many years working on this piece of shit.
Wow.
Look at the gap that was on these subframe bushings. Luke and I were just freaking out about it.
Cause yeah, when I jack this thing up, you can literally watch these things move like a solid inch to sandwich against the chassis. Anyway, we got the subframe almost ready to come out and got the trans jack, so we'll see if this thing actually works. Luke is pumped on this, aren't you, Luke?
Oh yeah.
Show your face, man. Like,
I'd rather just be tactical board.
right. All right, here we go. Luke's having a lot of fun with me, and we're ready to pull this fucking thing out. Oh man, look at this shit under here. What a mess. But it'll all look nice once it's replaced and painted, so let's get her done. Get this stud off of here, or this nut off of this stud.
Oh man, dude, incredible footage.
Thank you.
I better get some cash for that, dog.
All right, the nuts came out. Now let's see if this trans jack is even nice. Luke's pumped. They came out though. I think the battle is over yet, because shit looks pretty weird how there's this gap. Luke definitely doesn't like that. Oh yeah. Thing's working pretty slick.
No, not bad.
Fuck yeah, man. Studs. Oh, yeah,
Oh,
there's
yeah, there you go.
that factory white too, like you were saying. But yeah, look at that. That bushing is just fucking attached, man.
Yeah, that one's gonna be sort of a bitch.
Great.
You just gotta be careful with it.
What about the front studs? Yeah, front studs look good.
This stud doesn't look that good. Up in there looks a little rusty, but
Does it,
whatever.
I'm worried about bent.
That one doesn't look that great either.
I'm worried about bent, you know? But
Yeah,
it is what it
they're
is.
fine. We'll clean them up.
Cool.
Hopefully they'll be strong enough to hold.
Well, yeah,
Fun times, dude.
Getting there. Yeah, this is literally the only way though, man, right? Got Luke pulling the shifter. He's enjoying my heel plate. Luke, do you feel fancy?
Yeah.
He feels like a real race car driver now.
I feel like the only one that's doing any work.
He's doing that, and then I gotta get the starter pulled out. So gotta do the transmission next. Fun times. Hanson would rather do this than get under there. Come on, show him how many clicks you get.
You don't like that? See if I can even get it back on
It's
there.
probably too loose now, too. I think I hear two.
It's like 2 clicks.
All right, Kylie and Luke and everyone has been ripping on my new tool cart, saying, why is that necessary? Well, you know what? I'm about to throw some tools on it and wheel it over to my toolbox, okay? So it saves me a little bit of time. Who knows? I might hate it. I might like it, but yeah, it's got a little drawer for some hand tools. And it might be nice if I'm doing like engine bay work and I'm standing over, you know, right here, and I don't want to bend over and pick up tools. I'm getting old, okay? Some of these things might be creature comforts, so who knows? If I don't like it, sell it, get rid of it, but thought I'd give her a try. And then, yeah, update on the subframe. Got the whole rear end out of the car. Came out pretty good, not a whole ton of hassle. The nuts broke loose. You know, the four main nuts that hold this thing up to the chassis, they came loose with a bunch of penetrating oil. I had been soaking the nuts for like 3 days straight, but it came out. And yeah, here it is. Now we can make our modifications. The only bad thing was one of the studs doesn't look that great. You see that chunk kind of taken out of it. So Luke's gonna kind of weld and fix up this stud a bit. All the other studs look pretty good. I even got some of the factory white paint. Just this one, not so much. So gonna reinforce it and add some weld to it, some strength, and literally the entire bushing got stuck to the subframe. So like this whole bushing and collar was stuck and sandwiched up here. So I had to make a relief cut with the grinder and get it to come out. It was a real pain in the ass. Yeah, so you can literally see that's how bad the bushing was. I mean, the whole thing had ripped out, and this one was basically in the same condition, but somehow it was staying in there. So yeah, I think she was definitely due for some subframe bushings. So should feel really freaking good. I hope it's a big improvement for, down here. All right, little update from the night that I've been tearing down the subframe. Just had to show you the tool cart has been awesome. Been loading it with all the subframe parts and wheeling it around. And then, yeah, I cleared off this whole shelf over here, so that way I got all the storage I need to just put all the parts off of the car right onto that shelf and keep it organized. So, yeah, the new organization and getting to the new toolbox has been really nice. Every drawer has its own category, so it's been making it real easy to grab tools and put them on my tool cart, wheel them over, and work. And yeah, just trying to make some progress. But yeah, next steps is to get the other side off. So I got half of it torn off. Now I got to get the other half torn off and then clean up the subframe. I get it ready for welding, doing reinforcement plates, and then some other goodies on it, and then maybe powder coat it, but at least paint it. So we'll see, spray paint at the very least. But yeah, that's the shop update. Loving it. Here we are tearing apart the other half of the subframe. We're getting all the suspension arms off, the rotors, the axles, and all the other stuff, prepping it for cleaning up the subframe and powder coat. I definitely have to work on my media angles and my tripod placement because you guys can't see the entire space that I'm wrenching on. But if you guys like this kind of thing, feel free to let me know, because this does take up a lot of media space on my hard drives because these are large files. But if you appreciate watching me wrench through an entire thing, that's fine. But I am going to speed up the recording as this kind of stuff does take a while. Yeah, I got an electrical issue too. The underglow on the workbench, usually all this LED strip lighting, and my power strips aren't working. My outlet over here, I think a breaker popped in the house because all the breakers are in the on position, so I think it actually broke, like the breaker itself broke. But yeah, I'll have to deal with that another day. I'm gonna get an electrician's opinion because I don't know. I have done the panel stuff before a little bit, but I'm a little nervous and I want to make sure I do it right before I just go and replace a breaker and hope that that's what the problem was. Got the final tool, the hammers, and the pry bar. Might need that too. Anyway, let's get to it, huh? Gotta get this separated from the lower control arm. I think it's a 22. It is. And here we are finishing the last of the teardown on the subframe. We're getting the differential out and the sway bar. Alright, so bring in, man, one of the bushings was completely ripped out and the collar was stuck to the subframe stud, so I literally had to make a cut to get it off of the stud and a relief cut. So yeah, that's what I've been driving on. Some really bad bushings. Same with this side. This side didn't completely rip out, but I mean, look at all those gaps, tears. Front ones actually don't look all that bad. The rear ones must take all the beating. But yeah, now it's time to clean this thing up and get it ready for reinforcement plates. And I got the anti-squat kit for it too. But yeah, let me get out all the goodies for it so you can see. I mean, we have a long ways to go before the goodies go on. All the GK Tech goods. I want them to sponsor me, man. I love their products. But yeah, first things first, we got the gusset plates. So these will go in all sorts of spots to gusset and reinforce, especially where these tabs are for the suspension arms, because the suspension arms are kind of the weak point on here. And so yeah, reinforce all the suspension pickup points. And then I've got in the next box here, this is the spherical bushing upgrade. So for the there they are, for the lower control arm, instead of the old energy suspension bushings, we've got these fancy spherical ones that we got to press in. What else? We got the anti-squat kit. So this should give us more grip in the rear. It's another thing that gets welded on, and it changes the pickup point of the suspension arm, so that way it matches the S14 suspension geometry, thus allowing the car to squat more. And we should get more grip out of that. And then last but not least, the poly bushings. So these will replace our old worn out factory bushings. So yeah, whole bunch of GK Tech goods for it, and I'm very excited to install their stuff. But yeah, first things first, next time you see this thing, it should be all cleaned up. I'm gonna try to wire wheel all this off. I don't know, I thought about getting it sandblasted, but the more I think about it, I don't know, I think I'm just gonna wire wheel it everywhere and then rust convert it. So they sell this rust converting spray, and then after that I'll either powder coat it or spray paint over it once it's all prepped. But yeah, first things first, clean it up, get some of the rust off, clean up the areas that we need to weld all the plates onto and the anti-squat kit onto, and then get the stuff welded on, finish cleaning it up, spray it with the rust converter to get rid of all the rust, and then get it ready for paint it, and then the last thing should be to install the bushings, to reinstall the new bushings. So long way to go with it, but all the upgrades should be well worth it in the end. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy it, and we'll keep you posted along the way. Thanks for checking out Umalag Drifts, and we'll see you in the next episode. So yeah, hopefully you guys like the tripod and some of the new filming. And now I'm trying to actually show myself, so you can see me along the way for the process and not just updates of the different projects. Hopefully it adds.